Right here, the man himself, Boogie Frantick, y'all. One and only Tsunami, the living legend, Big Mijo, your favorite dancer's teacher, SB. Come on, guys. Right here, we were able to fortunately create the Avengers of dance right here on stage for y'all. So that's what you're looking at today, guys. These are really living greats of this whole culture that we're a part of. Their influence is it's supreme. It's in the grapevine. It's in the subconscious of the dancers that you see to this day, and this 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 is ultimate right here. So thank you guys from the bottom of my heart for taking your time to be here with us this weekend. Thank you for being here for Sacramento. Thank you for really allowing your wisdom to be displayed for us, as a lot of young entrepreneurs, young dancers, young creatives out there are trying to create a way for themselves. They can go to y'all as mentors and ask the right questions today. So thank you for your time today. Cool, cool. I'm gonna give y'all a mic. Um, we're gonna pick it up right from yesterday. How many of y'all were here from yesterday? Okay, okay, there we go. Hey, real quick, can we get my people some water? Can we get them some water? Make sure they good. They're not parched. First question. Oh, hey, shout out to Haley. Y'all give it up for Haley. For myself, please. Thank you, thank you, thank you, SB. Thank you, brother. Got that one right there. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah. Is this alkaline? Oh my God. Thank you. Come on. If it ain't alkaline, it ain't right. Okay. So we're gonna get into this. So yesterday, shout out to Jigman. Look, so yesterday I asked them a question of about finding their DNA in this industry, and like, in order to create a legacy, which is what this whole panel is about, creating legacy, you have to really understand who you are before you create anything, and you create a wave. You know, lack of a better words is, you have to know your DNA. Just like if you expect to leave influence in this world, you really got to know what you stand for, you know. And like they say, you know, if you don't really have anything to stand for, you'll fall for anything. And I believe these pioneers and creators and wave makers were able to establish that. So yesterday we were able to get into that conversation and understand them a little more. But today we're gonna get into a little bit of the nitty gritty. I wanna ask y'all, how did y'all stay in the game for so long? You know, how long have you been in this culture, and what kept you here? You know, I believe for the four of y'all, this is basically your livelihood. This is really what, well, let me correct myself. It's a big part of your life, you know, and for some of you, this may be the only sense of income or sense of career path you may have created for yourself. But for some of you guys, it may not be. But how did you stay in the game so long, even with all the adversities and all of that? How did you stay true to this to make it this far? I'm gonna give y'all this one. They can share between the two mics.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, man. So I started popping around 1991. Like I really picked it up. I was 9 years old, and I was just self-taught, you know. But I've been freestyle dancing since I was 2. Like I was just a little kid that would dance for the family, and then they would dress us up, and we'd be those little beaners, you know, just jamming and shit to that funk music. But I was blessed because my family had a band, and having that, always like watching people perform, it just enlightened me in a whole different realm. And I just always felt the need to express, you know. So 3 years into it, I meet a mentor, and it opened my life to the culture of hip hop, and not realizing like this was gonna be, you know, my longevity, you know. Um, but I went through the troubles and turmoils. I didn't graduate high school. I dropped out of college. I worked regular 9 to 5s to support my hobbies and my habits, and and party and shit. So it was just, I don't know. I felt like the scene itself was something to create, um, like that essence that always reminded me of who I was, and being that I would look up to people, and I needed father figures. So my dad wasn't around for like 16 years, so everybody that was older than me was pretty much like a different sense of a father figure. So like the scene, the music, like all of that raised me to be the person that I am today, and thankfully my biggest mentor was like the most positive influence that I had. Like till this day, this dude still runs a session on Monday nights for free. You know what I'm saying? And I met him when I was 12. So like that is what always kept me, like, to keep the name that I have, to keep inspired, to keep going. And then to dig even deeper, because I'm a deep motherfucker, like dancing. I've so many different stages, from dancing because I'm home alone, dancing because I needed to just express, dancing in front of my brother's casket, dancing in front of my friends' caskets, on cemeteries, like on streets where people died. Like that connection is so deep rooted in me. And that's my reminder, like we all need something, you know what I mean? So to keep that going is why I continue to maintain just that integrity of like, you'll just love what you do, and allow it to help you when you need it. You know what I'm saying? So um, don't get depressed, y'all. It's just shit happens. You know what I'm saying? So it's reality. It's the realness behind that, and like being able to just travel the world and now teach and make a living off of it. I never thought in my life this is what I'd be doing. You know what I'm saying? So that was kind of crazy. Um, but like it's a lot of the manifestation. So just to throw out some of that, I manifested a lot of my moments in life, from being on television to dancing in prison to dancing in a movie to dancing, like, just for the love of it. Like all of this stuff is stuff that was what I was surrounded by and what I envisioned, and I was able to walk that path and maintain that. So yeah, I mean, that's what keeps me and keeps that motivation, and that wanting to be a mentor to somebody that needed that, and wanting to be the hero I needed. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
My voice isn't that deep. I can't. You're. As far as longevity, my the dance has been ingrained in me as well since 3. Since I had roller skates or ballet shoes on when I could walk. And so through the years, not having a lot of close blood family, basically, like very like big family, but just not connect or close. And through the years, and once diving into the hip hop and the house culture, finding a crew and a family that really became my family, like my blood, and that alone keeps me going. Just that family and that support system. Um, Also, again, without the dance, I go crazy. Like literally, gosh, 10 years ago, living in LA, hot mess, in major depression, eating disorder, just off the charts, super sick. And I got to the point where all I was doing was dancing to try to save myself, to keep sane, but I was just breaking down. And it got to the point where the doctors were like, no more dance. You're gonna do this, and you're not gonna dance because your organs, your shit is gonna fail and you're gonna die. And to have the dance threaten to be pulled from my life was just like, oh shit, I gotta wake up, you know. So that reality check and of how fortunate and for the I guess, you know, for the gift of the dance that I have in my life and to be able to share it is it's such a main art. It's an artery in me, you know, and it flows. And that's all I wanted. Like a same thing. Like I never thought, you know, 15, 20 years ago that I would be traveling or teaching or doing any of this. But, you know, if I can help share those stories or share these tools to someone else that it can impact, you know, because a lot of the stuff people don't talk about, you know, these stories, these dark demons or whatever, like to be able to share those and be like connect with someone and be like, oh shit, me too, you know, let me use this dance as that tool. That's why I still am here and doing this and don't plan on stopping for a while. So yeah.
Man, what keeps me going? What keeps us going? Me being in search of myself. Um, as a young kid, I'm the baby in my family. Both of my brothers passed early, so like I bounced around. My mom kind of like took that hard, and then right after that, my father kind of he passed. So death like hit us. So my mom needed help, so I started to bounce around. So I think developed a sense of like just search, like for family, for comfort, for identity. I mean, we're all Americans, but there's no blind eye to like what type of American I am. So like searching for identity has always been something from the time of me watching TV. Like you're telling me I'm this, I see where I'm at, you know, being in the hood, you know, constantly, reminders of something that you can easily be. And then in search of what you truly feel, you know what I'm saying? So like, in search for self is something that keeps me like constantly going. So like having that and then finding a community like within South Central at the time of me growing up, we had clown dancing or a form of like an outlet that was like creative. And for us to, for me to attach myself to that and then find like loved ones that were going through the same thing, because gang violence is like it's it's second nature, like in the hood. Like all of my friends have been victims to gang violence in some sort of way, whether it's them like emotionally going through like their relatives or their friends. Like we've all had that in common. So like to express that through dance, because clown dancing, crip walking. Anyway, and then for me to manifest something that was like really vibrant through me and my friends, like Krump manifested from clown dancing. So to see like a direct, like, oh, that's coming from me, like that's coming from us, like that constantly keeps me motivated to just push, because I've been searching for an identity, and then to see a reflection is like, oh shit, like I'm real. Like I'm real here. I'm not guessing no more. Like, oh shit, like I found something that I could identify with as like genuine. So that, and now, being in the industry, learning what I could actually be as a inspiring artist or entrepreneur. Like I'm really understanding the industry now. So now, like my hunger is different, and now that's kicking in, and that's helping my endeavors to like really come out. So like, search for me. I think the inward shine, like me looking for who I really am, is what keeps me constantly moving or progressing. Yeah.
That was dope, bro. I'm just trying to take that in. I'm just like, um, you know, just listening to even everybody, even before I go, it's like everybody got their own story. And what's crazy is, you know, you're saying like it's Avengers up here, right? And I mean, I'm not saying that about myself, but Brian said it. I didn't say it. He said it's like Avengers up here, and you know, respectfully, like you know, I understand what you're saying. Like this way right here is crazy. So I'm just kind of taking in the moment and kind of being present with what's going on. You know what I mean? And it's really deep. So yeah, I'm just trying to gather myself as I stall. Um, but as far as I guess the DNA, right? And I don't know. I feel weird talking about it because it's like I know this, but it actually isn't talked about on a regular basis. So even just like literally DNA wise, right? You know, my parents, my heritage. You know, my parents are from the Philippines. You know what I mean? So I am a part of a big population of like first generation Filipino Americans. You know what I mean? And my parents they met in Vallejo, and then they had us out here in Sacramento. And so there's like kind of like this big population that's cool. You know, I was talking about how diverse it is. And what's crazy is 91 even in particular. I don't know if we like the same. Are we the same age? Just making, I just had to tap it like, we the same age? Because I remember 91. And 91 was a good year. And that makes it seem hecka old because I know some of you guys are just born in 91 and stuff like that. Yeah. 90s babies, make some noise. Lucky. Lucky, some of them yeah, so I would even say 93, right? So born, growing up in Sacramento, California, I would even say 93, listening to hieroglyphics, 93 till, right? 93 till, like, big part of our foundation, you know what I mean? And it was on that tip, you know, like I referenced Michael Jackson. We all saw Beat Street and Breaking. So we were already breaking, but when we were doing it, it was kind of a different era from like late 70s, 80s, you know what I mean? Like it was kind of like, I don't know if you guys know about this, but like sock rocking, like where people used to just break in just socks. And that's when kind of like power started to really develop and stuff like that. You know, I grew up in that time, and it was very similar. You know what I mean? Like a lot of gang violence. We grew up in my cousin's house. Was like the hub on Cottonwood Lane. I don't know if you guys know where that is. If you're from Sacramento, near Florence High School, and it was kind of like a hub because it was just a main street. And so little did I realize that, you know, all this crazy stuff that was happening on the street, we were just in the garage. You know what I mean? And so it was like a lot of activity on the streets, you know, and we just kind of stayed in the garage, kept the music going. Sometimes the trouble would make its way in the garage, but at least we had a place to kind of, you know, draw the lines, you know what I mean, and try to keep it, you know, outside of the house, you know what I mean? Like my auntie and my uncle lived there, like, you know, as family members, as kids and stuff like that. But it's I think it's the same thing within all of us. There's a lot of I feel like a lot of the struggle, you know what I mean, and a lot of basically real life shit, you know what I mean, and um, I think that has to do with I think why we kind of maybe do such outrageous things to even get to where we're at. You know what I mean? I think there's definitely like a sense of just trying to do better and this self discovery. And fast forward, you know, we're like traveling physically, but then it's really like uncovering yourself, and it's like an internal journey, and really different backgrounds up here. But then, you know, I'm listening to everybody here on the stage, and it's like we're dang near the same. You know what I mean? And it's, yes, dance, like people dance, but you know, people rap. I'm pretty sure you guys like draw and do other things. You know what I mean, to express yourselves. But ultimately, I think eh, you know, we're human. We hurt. You know, we feel good. Try to make people feel good. We entertain. We do all this, but I think it's ultimately about celebration. You know what I mean, and just and thriving. So what we have in common more than dance, I would even say, is uh, communicating. You know what I mean? We're only here for so long, so we're just trying to get it out. It's like even with Brian, like, oh, I got a clothing idea. Oh, I got an idea about this event. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. And it's like, you know, and even with me, that's why I'm here. I'm inspired by, you know what I mean, what everybody's doing up here, including you, Brian. So as far as the DNA thing, um, yeah, literally, you know, I have the Filipino roots and stuff like that. But beyond that, I think we were meant to all be here in some deep way. And I know I'm really getting into it, but stuff like this inspires me to keep going. You know, my family, I'm very family oriented. You know what I mean? My kids are here. You know what I'm saying? They keep me going. You know what I mean? It's again, it's real life shit. So we gotta keep this thing going, man.
Oh, yeah, let's give it up, man. That was good. That was the first question. Um, can I add a little bit to that, y'all? Okay. I think one thing, you know, to sort of help y'all conclude your thoughts on this, let me come in and give the assist real quick. I think what it really comes down to is just understanding where you come from and what makes you you, and claiming that and being okay to stand firm in that, rather than like, oh, my homies is doing that, everyone popular is doing that. And I don't care who you are influenced by it. Maybe not consciously, but it takes place in your subconscious. But you got to understand that whatever makes you inspired and happy and want to pursue yourself more and life more, that's what makes you you. And it just sounds like that's what I'm hearing from each and every single person. It's from your past, it's from your childhood, it's from your parents, it's from your environment. All of that factors plays a part out in the outcome of who we are every day. But the other factor is, can you claim it and be proud of that and create from there as creatives? You feel me? So, dope. My next question to y'all is, you know, I want to give you guys a little background on the people. I don't feel like I did that yet, you know, but we have a lot of innovators and creatives up here, you know, and so I'm gonna start specifying my questions a little bit. But Big Mijo, man, he is the creator of Krump dancing. Understand? And I want to ask, man, like, you know, when you hear that, and you can be honest as you want, bro, you know, when you hear that and being in this game, and not just being in the game, but you created a whole console for people to play on, you know, like you created something that's national, you know, international, um, and it goes past your everyday life, you know. You could be having a hard day, but you just saved someone. What you created just saved someone across the world, you know. And I gotta publicly say that because you saved a lot of our lives, bro. You know, you created like hood therapy. You know, I'm not lying, you know. You really did. You created therapy for people that resonates with them. So, you know, with that being said and all that, like, how do you feel creating it? You know, like, and you know, have you had a moment to look back and be like, yo, like this is something I've created, you know, with Todd Eyes. Todd Eyes is the other 50% of Krump. You know, but I just want to ask you a personal question about like what that experience is like for you by being like a creator of a style. Go and take a minute if you need, bro.
Hell yeah, I got so emotional. I was about to start crying while you was talking, bro. The substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things unseen.
Mm.
Like, I'm not even sure what passage that is in the Bible, but it's describing faith, and that's some shit that I really struggle with. For I'm still, yeah. This is what gives me faith. You know, like I explained, me trying to find my identity in the beginning on like that being a power source for me to keep walking and pushing and trucking through life. Like Krump is that. Like I yearned so long to be a part of something because of my brother's absence of because of their death, and then to be accepted around the world for something that's just genuine is crazy as fuck.
Give it up, give it up. Come on, come on, come on. Yeah. What up, Big Mijo?
Yeah, it's I don't even know how to articulate that feeling, but I do understand how to get there. So, like now, believing I want to, encourage whoever embraces this to really find themselves within it, and start embarking on that freedom and figuring who you are because man, America is a motherfucker. Like we are constantly trying to figure out who we are here, and now when I die, like I feel like that's going to be here for a while, and not only I, like
Legacy.
not only I, but our community. We're teaching people that we all have that same power, man. Like each one teach one, like all that shit is like, bruh, like self other. You feel me? Like what I do for self, I have to do for others. You feel what I'm saying? And if we keep vibrating like that, like we all will be legends. We will all continue to like break the barrier and create new shit because we're all different. Like that's why I hate judging. Holy shit! I'm so happy that I can say this because I just don't feel like no one. You can't do that to me. I'm just sorry. I wouldn't give a fuck if the person that created dance was up there. You can't judge me. I'm free, bro. Like and. So before anybody get butthurt about a judgment, yo, I don't like doing this, bro. Like for real, it's really against my morals as Joe artist. I used to get picked on by that about that name, Joe artist, and now I dance. That's so funny. Anyway, I don't know how to feel about this, man, and especially me seeing where it could go. Do I have time looking back? Yeah, moments, but we're living, so it's just so much shit that's constantly going. I got a little one. She's 8 years old. That's another pride and joy that keeps me motivated and steamrolling through this life. So nah, man, I don't. I think about that a lot. Like I just go, and I'm constantly going. And there will be moments when it's said and done when I could really look back and be like, holy shit. But right now, like I really value time, and I'm understanding how much, like how valuable that is more and more as I get older. So like it's changing through my fabric on how I even move with people. Like so. Um, Yeah, I don't know how to feel about that shit.
Hey, yeah. Give it up for Big Mijo, y'all. Hell yeah. you know, uh, Mijo, man, like, and this goes for all of them, really. But life is short. It's really short, man. And I just really want to praise these people for the legacy that they left for us, because it's in the books. It doesn't matter what happens next. You're in the books, and we got to say thank you to people like this because they risk their circumstances without thinking about what that would leave behind them. And that is what builds communities. That's what touches people, and it's what really gives this life and world color. Without art, without your innovation, without what you guys have done, this life would be very black and white. So can we give it up for them, y'all? Yeah. And now I'm gonna start touching on their personal legacies. Cool. And I could talk to y'all all day, but I think I got like 20 minutes. So let me see where we can go. Tsunami. Can I give her the mic? Thank you. This woman right here is a true leader, um, innovator, confident woman that really just represents herself, her community, and people that are like her so well. And I just really like briefly want to talk about some of your establishments and then get deeper into those establishments and why you created them. But I know you have some uh, organizations that you formed. I know that you have a life outside of dance, and you have so much training, professional training, but then you also understand street culture, you know. So can we touch up on that and look at your resume real quick? Can we talk about that? Just name some of the things you've created. Name some of the things that you take pride in as far as like what you've established in your career.
Um, well, the most recent and most critical, I think, at this time is this year I started Her Principles, which is an initiative for honoring, empowering, and respecting women within the urban dance community.
Let's go.
Primarily based for the competition scene. You know, the culture that, you know, I've been in it, you know, wholeheartedly for 27 years. And before that, it was more like 90s hip hop party, you know,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that stuff.
yeah.
But when I fully committed and was head in first, it's been a long time. And like I mentioned yesterday, you know, there really wasn't that many women in the community at that time. And I was really focused at that time, or even just in the last number of years, everything was just more club based or cipher based, or
Right, right.
you know, not necessarily competition or performance or the industry aspect side of things. You know, I came more from just the
Yes.
street side.
Yes.
So being back in that garage last night, sessioning with folks, was just it took me back. Like I was just like, this is real. You know, this is the good stuff. You know.
Yeah.
But with the change of affairs of, or just like the draw of the way that the culture is so competitive based now, and it brings so many people together. You know, there are clashes, there are issues with just the level of respect in the battles and people's space, and it's important to acknowledge and set intent to be respectful, as well as fucking tearing your head off.
Yeah, right.
So sorry, I have a potty mouth. But so that I've just been trying to build and connect with different organizations to just sponsor the events, to just, again, it's not rules. I don't necessarily like to say these are the rules, this is how you should be, this is how it needs to be, but it's just intent, you know, to say, you know what, who am I honoring and empowering today?
Yeah.
Or who is honoring and empowering or respecting me today? You know, to ask yourself those questions and kind of check yourself, whichever side it is that you're asking. You know, it goes all ways. So that's been kind of a focus this year. I mean, other than just building with Soul Shifters and Circle of Fire crew, it's an artistry collective. We constantly, you know, we are all individuals within the family, and all individually, you know, have our own outlets, multiple outlets, basically. So myself, you know, I'm an architect. I'm a artist, painter, costume designer, dancer, and other things. So, you know, and then, you know, we have tattoo artists that are also MCs, that are also, you know, fine artists as well, and travel the world painting, you know, 8-story panda bears on the wall, you know, like it's crazy. So, you know, it's just nurturing and supporting and being inspired and influenced by the family. Again, I come back to the family. You know, my husband and I, we are working on a Bay Area like historic collective just based on club culture, documenting venues, DJs, dancers, all from like the late 80s, early 90s up to today, and just just the club, preserving it, because there's not a lot of information out there, and it's important to pass the lineage of even our West Coast history within house dance and with hip hop, especially the Bay Area. It's so important, and so, you know, we're working on that as well, so that we can pass that down. Because when these old bones aren't dancing no more. I want to at least be able to continue the lineage and continue that history so it doesn't get lost, because there's way too many people like yourself, founders and creators, primarily, you know, even in the Bay, that you ask people, hey, so who did this? And they're just like, who, you know? So it's important to really start documenting and creating that history and archiving it. So those are a few things.
Let's go. Tsunami, so when you, I know we've touched on this on like the background, we're talking about this a little bit, but you also are a full-time architect, right? So she's an architect, if she didn't mention that before. And then you're also, I would say, a cultivator of culture and a creative for culture. So, you know, for I know a lot of us young folks out here, we feel the pressure because we see on Instagram that, you know, people are dancing and promoting that they're creating a living for themselves. And I want to shed light on that because I think that for some reason, like, now look, I have my opinion on the public school system. I won't get into that. But we tend to praise when, oh yeah, I dropped out of school to pursue dance. You know, oh, I left my career to do dance. And I get it. We want to pursue our passion because at the end of the day, success is just finding our joy and happiness. What it really is finding peace. You know, it's finding your peace within yourself and your mind and your soul. But for someone like you, how has that experience been for maybe some of y'all who are trying to figure out, man, you know what? I want to be a nurse, but I want to dance. I want to be a auto mechanic, but I want to krump. I want to be a club owner, but I want to lock. You know, like it's so how does one balance? How does one find that and live that little lifestyle there and find the median?
Yeah, so, you know, I think it wasn't until my mid 20s where I started to really realize, you know, I was dancing all the time. I was going to parties. You know, I was trying to figure it out with what to do with school, and it really wasn't until a friend's father sat my ass down. It was like, look, you got way too much talent here to just not be doing something with it. Like, you need to do something with it. You know, and I already knew because of all the years of the formal dance training that I had, that this dance world is cutthroat. It is no joke. And I just kind of at some point made this conscious decision, like, yo, what am I gonna have when I turn 65, 75, and my body doesn't allow me to dance anymore? What am I gonna be able to do to support myself, to live and, you know, be okay? And, you know, I started to kind of really search these other interests and passions that I had, like architecture, you know, and just art in general. And you know, so I decided to go to school. I was like, all right, I'm gonna put my ass in school. And, you know, I worked full time. I went to school full time, and I did it myself. You know, and again, no family really, so I had no choice. You know, I told my family, yo, so I'm gonna move to San Diego and go to school. And they're like, you're not moving, you know. And my car is like packed. I'm like, no, yeah, I'm going now, you know.
Right.
And then the same thing to move to New York. They're like, you're not gonna make it in New York, you know. It was just always down, 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 and so I just had to put an overdrive. But I made a promise to myself that I would always find or always make or create that balance between the dance, because like I mentioned before, it's part of my lifeline, you know. And so no matter how much school, how much work, or whatever else I had, I still created that balance and space for the dance. And so, you know, I through school, I sessioned, I would go to clubs, you know, whatever I could do to squeeze in some extra time just for that release, because that's the good, you know, that's the goodness, to just let it out, every stress, whatever it is. And then I also was, you know, really was fortunate to try to work and find, you know, employers that got it, you know, that said, oh, you have other things in your life that you like to do? No way. Okay, go fucking go do that now, and instead of like looking at me cross-eyed if I was leaving after working a 60-hour work week. So finding those things, keeping that conversation open to your, employers or whatever. Say, you have a boss, be like, hey, can I work with a flexible schedule? Like last year I was, traveling 2-3 times a month, but I was working a full 40 hours, taking off on Friday, flying in Monday morning, straight to work.
Yeah.
And it's a grind. It's a
Right.
grind, but to me, it's worth it. Because it's that balance. So
That's epic. Thank you. Yeah, I think that, and I'm not saying it's wrong to, get out of school or leave your career, but of course your peace and happiness is the same, but she found her peace and happiness and happy balance in life. Yeah.
and that's the important part. Like having the sharing it or finding the
Yeah.
balance with, say, two passions.
Yeah.
Something that can provide you stability for a day job or whatever. As well as the dance job.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that's important because if
Yeah.
you're just working at Wendy's, and that's your 9 to 5, and you're trying to create that balance, but you don't really like eating French fries, like why the hell are you gonna be working there?
Yeah.
That's not your passions. So as long as you're happy with the things that you're doing, you will find that balance for
Dope.
sure. So.
Give it up, y'all. Cool. All right, my man SB. Let's go again. Sacramento right here, y'all. This reason why a lot of us dance the way we do. Yeah, give it up. Come on. This is hometown hero right here. I don't care. Anyone can press me on it, but Sacramento, we create breeds. We just create monsters all the way across the board. Music, dance, man, business leaders, community leaders. Like, it's all here home. So if y'all here, don't sleep. Don't sleep on your people here who are creating their careers. Because you might sleep and they not there. And they all the way another planet, being great. And you driving to LA for nothing. When you go, sorry, no, and I don't mean no diss to LA, but a lot of people, from here always say, oh yeah, I want to go LA and create my career, which is cool. There's a lot in LA and a lot of, opportunity, but just know that there are things like this that are trying to innovate and create opportunities here at home, And my dude SB is a product of trusting that and allowing home to shape future, And SB, you guys know him, creator, one of the creators of Jabberwockies. But today, I don't really want to touch on that because I think you guys, to be honest, you can look that up. I want to learn more about SB. I want to know the man behind the mask, inside the mind of that. So, yeah, I don't want to ask, oh, how was Jabba, or how was your show, or this and that. Like, nah, scratch that. Let's get behind the creative mind and the creativity and the perseverance and the energy that it took to take you there. And I want to know about like Bruno Mars. I want to know about your brand. I want you to talk about Tribe. Like, what is that? Or like, this man does a lot, and to be honest, I relate to you in a lot of ways. It was funny. The first time I met Phil, I felt like I was looking in my future a little bit. I was like, yo, like, there's too much to relate here. And first time like we met each other, like we were talking through Instagram. I saw him in LA, and I didn't know he was gonna be in LA, and we ran into each other, and we gave each other love. That clap, like when we did our handshake, was so loud, and the energy, it was like lightning. It just went bow. But SB, man, being from Sacramento and innovating and creating, Boogie Monstars. And then at the same time, that's when Jabba came out and when you guys did ABDC, you know. I want to know, man, like, let's first name the creative things that you do. Let's talk about maybe the things you do in music, fashion, uh, being someone in the community as well. But let's just give them a quick rundown on who you are as a creative, and then we can get into some deeper questions there.
Seven. Appreciate that though.
Yeah.
Brian, I don't know where to start, bro. Like I said, and everybody's that's up here, we're all creatives. You know what I'm saying? Yourself. Um, and I guess just at a young age, I was the I was the little one out of like our whole clique. You know, our family. Um, you know what I mean? I distinctly remember being like, you know, like 8, 9 years old in a crew of people that were like middle school, high school. You know what I mean? And I was just the little guy running around, but I would see, you know, my older cousin Keith. Big shout out to my cousin Keith. Um, I seen how he wiggled, and I seen him like printing up hats, going to Ceremony Mall. You know what I mean? Because we weren't even doing embroidery like out here. There wasn't really kind of no connect, so you had to go more towards the Bay to get the hats. You know what I mean? Embroidered and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So that's real. And so that's where everybody would get their crew hats made. And I was in a crew called Soldiers when I was 9 years old, and doing the battling and stuff like that. And so I just kind of started to see the wiggle of things, and how, you know, people were doing the flyers like straight graph, like, you know, the different colored neon colored flyers and all this stuff. Like, you know, y'all got like all these like cool Instagram, like the Nightwalkers, you know, graphics is going crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like this is some year 3000 stuff now, man. Like, what happened to the flyers? What happened to the, you know? But yeah, so just early on being socialized, I guess you could say, you ultimately learn how to communicate, right? So now you trying to put together a crew, and it's like, oh, he's good at this, he's good at that, and we could do this. So when you battle, it's like it's communicating still. It's like, oh, there's the power guy coming. All right, we're gonna tap our power guy, and oh, their popper's coming out, and then you kind of like, all right, and you know, it's a conversation. You know what I mean? And same thing with whether it be the clothing, you know what I'm saying, the dressing. I definitely remember styles were a lot more distinct back then. It's like if they got down like this, they were from that region. You know, this is pre-YouTube. You know, so if you've seen anything, it was through a VHS tape and dubbed over and over and over. So it just a lot of that tracking snow, whatever that, you know, that salt and pepper stuff that would be on the. You guys don't even know what I'm talking about. They're like, oh, that's that old school filter that you use on the Snapchat and that's the VHS filter that he's talking about. Yeah, we had real VHSs, fool. Like what? Oh, so it's all that conversation, from the dressing style to dance moves that were introduced, to me even seeing firsthand, like somebody, rest in peace, Joy Raleigh Sullivan. Like he was the first person I seen in South Sac. Like, oh, this guy is about to do a Flair 90. Like he's about to do that. Like once upon a time, that wasn't normal. You know what I mean? Like once upon a time, Krump or whatever it is. Once upon a time, that wasn't normal. You know what I mean? And we have to embrace that. You have to learn how to celebrate, like when something is kind of birthed. You know what I'm saying? Because for some reason we're kind of programmed to just celebrate things when they're gone, or people when they're gone. You know what I mean? And that's super sad. So, anyways, pushing it and socializing and understanding, like, oh, I got an idea, or we're gonna print this T-shirt, or you know, Mr. Q's back there doing the Architechnique. He started doing the clothing line, Sacramento Zone. Like, you know, he was at the magic shows. He was doing all that stuff. 2001, I'm seeing how he's wiggling. Like, oh, he's printing up T-shirts. He's doing this, that, and the other. Like, oh, we're hustling right now. Oh, I was in this crew in the '90s, and then I put together my own crew. I wanted to start to dance with people my age because I've always danced with people that were older than me. And so that's when I created Boogie Monstars. And that was like the first kind of like guy and girl kind of crew of our generation, you know what I mean, that kind of came about. And that's when I would say like that swag shit was really birthed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because before that, before we were kind of doing our thing, it was a little bit more, at least in our circuit, it was a little bit more like thrashy or very music video
Full
style,
out,
right?
yeah.
But then at the time of Boogie Monstars, 2003, you know, and then we started to pay attention. The hyphy movement was coming about, and then we was seeing what was going on with the Krump stuff, and then also having the background of the popping in the house and the 90s, the New Jack, all that stuff. So I kind of like try to put all that together myself, you know what I mean, and try to throw that into Boogie Monstars, and yeah, so we started pushing. You know, a lot of people started to bite the style, right? At least not like I invented one particular type of movement, but at least how things were kind of curated. And so back then I was kind of tripping more, you know what I mean? Like, hey, you know, and I'm not like that no more, you know what I'm saying? A little bit, not really. But that's where the whole Biters Will Be Eaten movement came about, right? Because now you're seeing people all over the world kind of like claim that they were doing this, and it's like, no, you weren't, you know. And I was against YouTube, so we weren't posting stuff on YouTube because we didn't want nobody to buy it because we knew nobody kind of had that sauce, that formula. And I honestly, I got afraid because in hindsight, it's like, man, I wasn't marketing or really trying to stamp the style. I was so big on being exclusive and kind of being true and being like this samurai that it's like, oh no, we might have boxed ourselves in. We might be too damn underground. Nobody knows who I am now. Shit. You know, and you know, for whatever reason, things kind of came full circle. You know, certain people found out and kind of knew the story, the history. I said we tapped in when we seen D-Trix. You know what I mean? Shout out D-Trix. You guys know D-Trix if you're from Sac. And he was out there like really pushing the story, and I kind of lightweight feel like I'm like hella bragging and stuff, but he's saying it. It's like, hey, it's the truth. I don't like saying it myself because if I feel like a jerk, you know what I mean? But it's like, yeah, a lot of people are inspired by this stuff that we were doing out here. You know what I mean? And but yeah. So fast forward, the Biters Will Be Eating thing. We were doing that, did the TV thing, and was kind of able to at least get our little recognition. You know what I'm saying? And ultimately, it's we're just trying to actualize. We're just trying to be ourselves. So instead of this Biters Will Be Eating and looking at that, it's a conversation. You know what I'm saying? And I'm grown now, so it's like you know how to pay homage. Like, hey, I'm inspired by Krump, bro. You know what I'm saying? So you might see some things that you know you'll see it. You'll see the DNA in there. And just pay respect. I think that's ultimately what it's about. It's just paying respect. And here I am again talking to you guys and just in the moment, man. I'm ranting, but yeah, thank you for the time.
It's SB, y'all. Yeah. Man, SB is tight because I think how many Filipinos I have in here. Now look, I'm not Filipino, all right? Look, I'm not, but look, I'm Vietnamese. What up? I'm Vietnamese, but it's cool because I know a lot of us identify with you because, man, like we got the same skin color, you know, and it's cool to see a Filipino American artist break boundaries and not, oh, you gotta be a nurse. Nope. You know, and again, like I'm not knocking it. If you like being a nurse, that's what you like to do. Like, to be honest, I'm not knocking it, but he created a new space for us to be like, whoa, someone like me can do it, you know. So my Filipinos, my Asians that look like us, you know what I'm saying? Make some noise real quick. Okay. And it goes all the way around the panel though. You know, it's awesome when you can look at someone and be like, I identify with you. My whole thing for this festival was just trying to make the world feel smaller today. Just wanted people to feel like they can see someone and be inspired and make this thing feel smaller. Because a lot of times people feel left out. They feel isolated. They feel like they're in solitude by themselves all the time. So having man, look, different nationalities, different skin colors all the way across its panel. That means something, you know? And it's awesome that we can see that. I know America, we have our opinion on it and it gets ugly, but this can only happen in America, low key, where all different nationalities and colors and backgrounds and stories from home, but we're on the panel talking about dance and being creative. So just the fact y'all represent your people in a bigger collective, I think that is something to be praised for too. My man Boogie Frantick. Give it up, y'all. All right, Boogie. Man, you've this man right here. Yeah, he's a dancer, but you're someone when people think of popping, it's like boop, boogie, boogie frantic, like.
I ain't shit.
But we gotta praise the boy, the man. My bad. But Boogie, bro, like Boogie Frantic, you've crossed into both worlds of industry and culture. And this man right here has the same respect in both spaces. And you're someone that has really created a space where, like, whoa, you can do that. You can be in industry. Like, you've done so many movies. I know you did, like, Step Up, correct? LXD. And I know I'll have him, like, name some of his accolades and some of his work, but you've been in so many worlds of dance and being a creative with your time in it. And first, I want to speak about what you've done. I would like for you to share with them, like, maybe some of the things that you've accomplished, and then and after that, I would like to get in a conversation about some of those experiences and how how did you make the decision based on, like, who you were, So, yeah. We'll all sit tight and let him go through his list.
Nah, it's not that big. It's not that big. I mean, I fought with the industry for almost like 10 years. And I remember, we were just breakdancers. We weren't nothing else. So I would go to auditions and I would see sitting across from me fucking Easy Rock, B-Boy Crumbs, Fire, aka Tommy Boy. Yeah. And I'd just be like, fuck this, I'm gone. This is because of the respect I had for these gentlemen, I was just like, there's just no way. Yeah. But going to these auditions, and I would be like, yeah. So can you break dance, right? It's like, yeah. So you can like, okay, we'll just play some music and you dance. It's like, all right, boom, and I do my shit, and they're like, okay, but can you like spin and do these like bigger moves? And I was like, well, that's not what I came for, Mm-hmm. I came here as a popper. That's just what I do. Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, that's not really what we're looking for. I was like, all right. But that happened for a long time, and I just was like, all right, I'm not for it, Mm-hmm. So 2009, I got the opportunity of a lifetime to be in Step Up 3. And then with that followed the LXD, and it just was in and out of that turmoil of just like stressing about my 9 to 5 and doing that. So, but that gave me like the greatest opportunities. Like I got a 45-second solo on the Oscars, Yeah. Like low key, you know what I'm saying? Like, and to the craziest music, like the Hurt Locker score, wasn't like fucking beats. It was just. I'm just like, but the funny story for real is like when they came to me and they're like, we're just gonna play the music, all right? Just tell us if you can do this. And I'm sitting there and I'm in my like studio that I built, and I was like, yeah, I'll fuck this shit up. You know what I'm saying? Like, this shit is easy. So if you guys look that up, that's cool. It's like 2010, I believe. But yeah, I got to do a whole slow motion bit, waving. I threw a fucking F-tut, represent for Frantick. You know, like I got to throw a West Coast and fucking step up three. Like I got to really rep for us, the people, you know? And you know, it's just touching on that. Like I did a Macy's commercial. We did a Conan O'Brien. We were Jimmy Fallon. Like we were just like trying to. I was just trying to do the most, but you know, yeah, just a lot of shit. Yes, but I'm actually like diving into acting now, which is kind of crazy.
Yo,
Yeah.
give it.
Uh, I did this movie with AOV, and Far Side like blessed me with this opportunity of a lifetime, and we were in Philippines together, like working, you know, we're in Philippines, dog, yeah, you know, like so, um, and I got to rewrite some of the script and just make it where it was more comfortable for me to just be myself, you know, and our communication was so live that the producers are like, yeah, let them do their fucking thing, you know. So, and then somehow I come home and now I'm like doing this immersive play in downtown LA, um, and I'm the only male supporting an all-female cast. So I'm like,
Let's go. Let's go.
and yeah, the dope thing is like they're you know it's about a women empowerment and shit too. So it's I'm like really happy to be in
Right.
that position, like for real. But yeah,
Dope.
that's a few things.
Man. Hey, real quick. We have seven to smoke after this. Seven to smoke or seven to yeah. My crumpers, just let y'all know after this we going right into the seven to kill off. So just make sure you start getting your body warm because we're gonna go right into it. All right. All right. But we're not done with this. We're not done. We're gonna keep going. I ain't getting cut off right now. All right. So I want to. This is a. I want to touch up on this question, and this will be passed around, and we got to keep it like a little brief.
Okay.
But I want to know, man, like with your guys' experience, you know, and what you've done, Frantick, you've really created a way where people have references off of like what they want to do in their careers. You know, if you get what I mean by that, it's like, oh, I want to be a popper. I want to go into the industry. I want to do X, Y, and Z. Whoa, Boogie did that. You know what I'm saying? And now they're going to you or looking at your videos on YouTube, getting inspiration, you know, and for the people in the crowd that want to do that, that want to be a man that represents culture no matter where you go, and then also represent yourself in the industry, and then also just, you know, represent you in all of it. How does someone like take pride in that, and how do they find like the confidence as a young adult out here to do that?
Yeah, I get these questions a lot from my young homies, and I call everybody my young homies. You're my young homie. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I appreciate you, and you're pointing back at me. But we're like, to be honest, like I say, do it for the love first, you know. But then the love of self, not just the love of dance and you know. It's like, but really the love of self and who you are at first, you know, because you're gonna fight with that person through your whole entire career. That person is the one person you can look in the mirror and be like, I can't lie to you. You know, I say this in my classes all the time. Like, only motherfucker you can't lie to is the person you're looking at in the mirror. That's the truth. You know, but you can lie to me. I can't call it yet until I know you, and I can call you on your bullshit. But you know, facing yourself and really looking at yourself and saying, like, am I proud of who I am today? Am I proud of my accomplishments? And if the answer is no, it's not. Don't put yourself down. Like, write out these ideas and stuff that you want to accomplish, you know, so that when you look at yourself every day, you can say, I'm working on these accomplishments. You know what I'm saying? So that is a true, like, essence for maintaining that, I feel. Like, pushing that. Because I remember the first person I battled after, like, losing to this, and everybody going crazy, and I'm just like, I just like, dude, this whole thing, and that like gets at the whole crowd, like that's crazy. So the first person I battled was me, because I was looking in the mirror, really trying to pull out everything I possibly had, and I realized that that's what made me so confident in battling for years. And that made me confident in facing like all types of different situations, you know what I'm saying, in and out of things. And like the same thing, like as far as, for instance, just last story, going to prison. My integrity was the main thing that kept me Boogie. Everybody knew me as Boogie because they knew I was a dude that danced. I wasn't some fake drug dealer. I wasn't some fake baller. I wasn't some fake this and that or some child molester. Like, I was a dude who danced and people can come to and see and be like, damn, I remember that shit back in the day, man. I remember this and that. I just got so many stories from that, and that helped me out because the people that were around me told me straight out, you come back here, we're gonna fuck you up. Go out there and live your life and do what you're supposed to do. This was obviously something you need to experience, so maintain that. Keep that going. And I did. As soon as I got out, it was like, boom, on a Macy's commercial. I was winning freestyle session. I won B-Boy Summit. Like, I was just back-to-back smashing the scene. So,
Yeah.
but it's not about me. It was the fact that I fell in love with that reason again, you know, and that's what helped me push and carry a lot of other people and just say, come on, man, like, y'all can do this.
Let's go.
You can do it. Trust me. You know?
Dope.
So, and same, you guys are gonna go through the same shit. Krump is still in its young years, you know what I'm saying? So you guys are gonna face a lot, but I got your back.
That's love. Tsunami, or we could go this way. You know, it could be Mijo, man. I gotta keep this like in like 2 sentences. Okay? Like, if you could give the youth here any words, if you could go like 10 years back, you know, and give yourself a word from that standpoint and be like, yo, man, do this. And I'm not saying like where you're at right now isn't tight, but if you could give yourself advice, you know, and speak to them about that in 2 sentences, what would you tell them?
I don't know if this is going to be this maybe 1 sentence. Don't cut no corners and face all your fears. I feel like that's it. You cut corners, you're gonna always have that regret. You know, like he said, checking yourself in the mirror, like you're gonna have to do that shit a lot in life in order to like prevail, in order to like accomplish something. So like, don't cut no corners, bust your ass, and attack all your fears. Yeah.
Tsunami, in 2 sentences, you could give all these young, amazing people in the crowd advice about, you know, creating their own legacy. What would you tell them?
Do the work, first off. Or, you know,
For sure.
it's okay to ask for help,
Mhm.
absolutely, but do the work. You know, reach out to your elders in your community, learn the history of your dance, study the music, learn the history of the music, where it came from, and that became that, you know, the samples and things like that. Follow the paths of the music because your dance will grow exponentially just by doing that. That was more than 2 sentences. But
No, that's great. Give it
yeah,
up.
but do the work. So.
Thank you. All right, SB. If you could talk to all these amazing young people out here and give them a little piece of advice in 2 sentences about creating something great for themselves and their family and the people around them, but most importantly, emphasis on the self, you know, what words of wisdom would you give them from your experience?
A lot of pressure. That's already 1 sentence. Wasted it. That's 2. That's it. So I watched Matrix and I was really inspired by that, right? And that's what I got on the back of this hat. it says Temet Noske. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it right, but it's Latin for know thyself. And how do you do that? You know, shit, I don't know. Just go out there and figure it out. Nobody's gonna give you the guidelines to how you're gonna live your life. So know thyself, one sentence, and don't be apologetic about it is the second sentence.
Let's go. Man, y'all got this is what I said yesterday, but it's like I feel like you guys have these jugs of wisdom, you know, and I know for all my people out here, alkaline wisdom. I know for all my people out there, you know, who have their cups of inspiration on low, I hope that today these great individuals here were able to come and fill up your cup today, you know. Now I challenge y'all, you know, is to emphasis on the no fear. You know, this whole thing, this whole event, this whole Nightwalkers and Dang is that. Its dreams are never gone. And these are 4 dreamers who've created their own legacy and are living embodiments of that. And not only that, are consistently pushing their own boundaries every day and creating more of their own personal legacy for their young ones, for their family, and the people around them, you know. But I take this energy and I throw it at y'all so everyone can leave here and do some great shit in the world. All right. Can y'all stand up for us? Can y'all stand up? Can we give them, can everyone stand up and give them a round of applause? Yeah, give it up, give it up, give it up.